Life has a way of throwing curveballs when we least expect them. Whether it's a sudden car repair, an unexpected medical bill, or a job loss, financial emergencies can strike at any time. That's where an emergency fund comes in. It's your financial safety net to help you weather life's storms without falling into debt or financial ruin. An emergency fund is simply a stash of money set aside specifically to cover unexpected expenses or financial shortfalls. Think of it as a rainy day fund that provides peace of mind and financial security when you need it most. While it may seem like a luxury, having an emergency fund is actually an essential part of a solid financial plan. So why exactly is an emergency fund so important? For starters, it prevents you from relying on high-interest credit cards or loans when surprise expenses pop up. Without savings to fall back on, many people are forced to put emergency costs on credit, potentially racking up debt that can take months or even years to pay off. An emergency fund gives you the flexibility to cover those costs with cash instead. It also provides a crucial buffer if you lose your job or face a reduction in income. Experts generally recommend having 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up. That may sound like a lot, but having that cushion can make all the difference if you suddenly find yourself unemployed. It gives you breathing room to search for a new job without immediately falling behind on bills or resorting to drastic measures. Beyond job loss, an emergency fund can cover all sorts of unexpected situations: major home or car repairs, emergency travel, unplanned medical expenses, and more. Life is unpredictable, and having savings set aside helps ensure you're prepared for whatever comes your way. Building an emergency fund takes time and discipline, but even small amounts can add up. A good starting goal is to save up $1,000 as quickly as possible. From there, you can work on growing it to cover several months of expenses. The key is to make regular contributions, even if it's just $25 or $50 per paycheck. One effective strategy is to set up automatic transfers from your checking account to a dedicated emergency savings account each month. Treat it like any other bill and pay yourself first before other discretionary expenses. You can also boost your fund by depositing any windfalls like tax refunds, work bonuses, or gift money. Where should you keep your emergency fund? A high-yield savings account is usually ideal. Look for an account that offers a competitive interest rate while still allowing easy access to your money when you need it. Avoid the temptation to invest these funds in the stock market or other volatile assets. The goal is stability and liquidity, not necessarily high returns. It's also important to keep your emergency savings separate from your regular checking account. Having it in a dedicated account reduces the temptation to dip into it for non-emergencies. You want this money to be accessible when you truly need it, but not so easily available that you're tempted to use it for everyday spending. Of course, building an emergency fund can be challenging, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck or dealing with debt. In that case, start small and be consistent. Even setting aside $5 or $10 a week is better than nothing. As your financial situation improves, you can gradually increase your contributions. If you're struggling to find extra money to save, take a close look at your budget and see where you can cut back. Maybe you can reduce dining out, cancel unused subscriptions, or find a cheaper cell phone plan. Redirect that saved money to your emergency fund. You might be surprised how small changes can add up over time. Another option is to look for ways to boost your income, even temporarily. Pick up a side gig, sell items you no longer need, or ask for overtime at work. Put any extra earnings directly into savings. The key is to get creative and make building your emergency fund a priority. It's also worth noting that an emergency fund is different from other savings goals. While it's great to save for things like vacations, a new car, or a down payment on a house, your emergency fund should be separate. It's specifically for unexpected expenses and financial setbacks, not planned purchases or long-term goals. So what exactly constitutes an emergency? That can vary depending on your situation, but generally it's an urgent, necessary, and unexpected expense. A broken water heater or a trip to the emergency room would qualify. A last-minute vacation or the latest smartphone upgrade would not. Be honest with yourself about what truly counts as an emergency. to avoid depleting your fund unnecessarily. It's also important to replenish your emergency fund after you use it. If you have to dip into it for a car repair, for example, make it a priority to build it back up as soon as possible. You never know when the next emergency might strike, so it's crucial to always have that financial cushion available. Having an emergency fund can provide immense peace of mind. It's empowering to know that you can handle unexpected expenses without going into debt or derailing your other financial goals. It reduces stress and gives you a greater sense of control over your finances. Consider Sarah, a freelance graphic designer. Her income can be unpredictable, so she made it a priority to build up a 6-month emergency fund. When a major client unexpectedly canceled a project, leaving her with a significant income gap, Sarah was able to cover her expenses without panic. Her emergency fund gave her the breathing room to find new clients without falling behind on bills or resorting to high-interest loans. Or take the example of Mike and Lisa, a young couple saving for their first home. When their car broke down unexpectedly, requiring $2,000 in repairs, they were grateful for their emergency fund. Instead of putting the repairs on a credit card or dipping into their house down payment savings, they were able to cover the cost from their emergency fund. They then focused on rebuilding that fund over the next few months. These real-life scenarios illustrate how an emergency fund can make a huge difference in navigating life's financial challenges. It's not just about the money itself, but the security and options it provides when you need them most. Building an emergency fund is a key step in achieving overall financial wellness. It goes hand in hand with other important financial habits like budgeting, paying down debt, and saving for long-term goals. By prioritizing your emergency fund, you're setting yourself up for greater financial stability and success. Remember, the journey to building a robust emergency fund is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself and celebrate small milestones along the way. Every dollar you save is a step towards greater financial security. With time and consistency, you'll build a safety net that can help you navigate life's unexpected twists and turns with confidence.